Hey there, comic fam. Bullseye Bob here, and welcome to Everything Comics, and thank you for joining me. I know it's been quite a while since I put out a video. It's been, this next Tuesday will be about 7 weeks since I put a video out. And as a lot of you know, we lost our good friend Sam this week, and I'd be remiss if I didn't hop on and just record a little something and talk about our good friend Sam. It's been really rough last couple days. I know that both Damien and Bueller have put videos out talking about Sam and what he meant to them, and I was just thinking about my relationship with Sam, and I have something that I think is going to go down as probably my most cherished memory of him, and I'll get into that in a little while here. But really sorry that I haven't been around. It's not been something that I ever intended. I just needed a break, and a lot of things have been happening to me, both health-wise, family-wise, just life-wise, and just to be honest, this has been kind of on the back burner for a while, and I'm sad about that, because I really do enjoy making videos. I enjoy talking about comics, as you know, and one of the things that is the best part about doing videos like this and being part of such a wonderful community is meeting people like Sam. I would have never met Sam if it wasn't for Bueller. I remember reaching out to Travis, who we know as Bueller, for the first time, and the first time that I got to meet him, he told me that Sam was supposed to be there with him, but that he couldn't make it. And what was really cool is the very next time that I got to meet with him, I finally got to meet Sam. And that was like the first time that I got to interact with him and find out just who he is. And he was an awesome soul. And I wish I could say that I spent more time with Sam, and that's kind of the thing that happens, when something tragic like this happens. You kind of reflect on what's most important, and I've had a lot of time in the last couple of days to reflect on things like that, and I'll just tell you right off the bat, I wish I would have spent more time with Sam. It's not that I didn't want to, it just the opportunities as they came were few and far in between, especially after COVID hit. I think I only saw Sam a couple of times after COVID, and it's just the way things worked out. But make no doubt about it, I loved the brother, and he was a huge part of the Portland comics crew, and he's going to be sorely missed. He's going to be sorely missed. I loved having Sam on my channel. I used to do the reviews over at the Refuge Coffee House, and it was cool just going over and picking him up from his house and having conversation with him, as we drove to the Refuge Coffee House, and then being able to film the video there, get his perspective on some books that he was reading that week. Of course, they were all Marvel, which Sam was the absolute Marvel fan. He did read some DC, but he, that was kind of like, he had to kind of twist his arm to do it. But he was a #1 fan of Marvel Comics, and of course of Spider-Man, The Thing, and the Hulk, and just a myriad of other characters. He loved comic books. And but yeah, we got to film a couple of episodes on having comics with my coffee, and I had such a great time just hanging out with him. We talked about a great many things. We met a few times, just to have coffee and enjoy each other's company, which was really cool. I never spent as much time with him as Bueller did. Those two were thick as thieves for the longest time. And but the time that I did get to spend with him was definitely quality time, and we became good friends. And Sam was one of those guys that he wasn't a fountain of conversation. I think that's the best way I can put it. And sometimes he would just give you a couple of one-word answers and stuff like that, but when he got on a roll, you couldn't stop him. And that's one of the things that I absolutely loved about his relationship with Travis, especially when we got all those great episodes on the BS show. And if you go back and watch those episodes, they're just as funny now as they were when they dropped. But Travis had a way of bringing Sam out of his shell. And I think that was probably one of the greatest things to happen to Sam. And definitely for my entertainment, I used to laugh my butt off. Absolutely loved watching that show. And, we can talk about, my relationship with him, and that's what I'm doing here. But really, we all had this relationship with him. I mean, he was a huge part of the community. One of the things that I think was really neat is, he had the Ever Lovin' Show, which was really cool because if you wanted to hop on, he'd give you the link and you could always hop on with him and hang out. It was always at a time of the day when it wasn't good for me because of work and things like that. So I only got to be on the show a couple times, but I'd always catch the replay, and always loved watching Sam. And then, of course, his relationship with Hermione, I think they became a great duo in the show that they did together every week. And I was privileged to be invited on that show, and we talked about Frank Miller's Daredevil, and I really enjoyed that. Sam was a walking encyclopedia of comic book knowledge. He could deep dive on stuff that really surprised me in a bunch of different ways. I think one of my favorite videos that included Sam that I've gone and watched actually multiple times was one he did with Damien, Sleepy Reader, and when they did their video on Sal Buscema. I love that video. Deep dive on some great old comic book knowledge, and I would have loved to have seen more of those videos. But anytime that I was around him and we talked about old comic books, 60s, 70s, 80s, he knew his stuff, and always appreciated that about him. And for me, I just love talking comics, period. And so being able to talk about that stuff with anybody is always a joy. And but that's one of the areas that I definitely connected with that brother on. And so, but it was very sudden. Nobody was expecting this type of thing to happen. So here at us at the Portland Comic Crew, all of us were just as blindsided by this as everyone else was. I've had a lot of inquiries asking about, the circumstances, and he died of natural causes. He had an ulcer that was bleeding, and that was pretty much the extent of it. And something that was treatable ultimately, and but he didn't go to the doctor, and ultimately that's what took him out. And I'm so very sorry. Because won't be able to see our friend again. But like I said, over the last couple of days, I've had a lot of time to think, and a lot of tears. There's been a lot of tears, but that, what that means when you have emotions like this is that that person touched your life, and Sam touched my life, and so these tears are coming from a place of I'm going to miss my friend. There's some good things that come from this, and one of those things is soul searching. Inside of the Bible, inside of Ecclesiastes, it says that it's better to go into the house of mourning than it is into the house of mirth, meaning it's better to be at the place where you're mourning a loss than it is to be at the party. Because at the party, you don't reflect on what's important in life. And when something like this happens and you visit the house of mourning, it makes you reflect on what is important in life. And a couple of things out of this have come out of it for me personally. Number one, Sam, in the last couple of months, has been on me about the fact that I'm not making videos. And he kept asking me, "Hey Bob, when are you going to put out another video? We need more videos from Bob." And as much as I've been taking a break, one of the reasons I was taking that break is because doing videos started to become stressful. This is a hobby to me. It's not something I do for a living like Travis does. If I ever get to that point where I could let go of my regular job, I would love to do that just to talk about comics all day. But I just don't foresee that happening in the future. But I don't want this to become something that stresses me out. And so as a result of what's happened, in honor of Sam, I'm going to be putting out more videos, but I'm going to be doing it differently this time. I'm going to focus on having fun, and I'm going to keep trudging along because that's something that Sam would have wanted me to do. And so for you, buddy, I'm going to be doing videos going forward, and I appreciate what that has done to my heart, just saying that. And so for those of you who wanted more videos from me, they're coming. The second thing that comes out of this is that one of the things that has really hit me hard is that what happened to Sam was something that was very treatable. This should have never happened to him. And he refused to go to the doctor. And, for whatever reason that may be, it's something that, I've had a while to think about. And one of the things that has been going on with me is my health. My health has not been good. I think COVID really did a number. I never caught COVID, but being holed up in my house for a year, no exercise, not really getting out, took a toll on me. And now I'm in a place where even the smallest of things will set off my back. I've gained a ton of weight, and I've not taken good care of myself. I've not been a good steward of my body. And that's one of the things that I'm going to start doing going forward. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do this also in honor of Sam, because I know that on hindsight, he would look at me and say, "Hey, take care of yourself." And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be doing more videos, and I'm going to take care of myself. And I want to do that in honor of Sam, and I want to thank him for it, because I love the brother, and even after he's gone, he's still speaking to my heart. And so I wanted to let you guys know what I think is probably going to be my most cherished memory of Sam. And it's going to sound corny. It may be corny to you guys, but it's not corny to me. And it's special to me. So, meeting all the guys in the Portland comics crew, I kind of feel like I'm the oddball out, because I'm a pastor, right? And, these guys have their own, understanding and walk as far as, what they believe in as far as God. That's one of the things I did appreciate about Sam. Sam was a man of faith. He believed in God. And so that's one of the things that makes me feel really good in my heart, is that I know he's up there kicking it with Jesus right now, talking about comic books. Forget Stan Lee, forget Jack Kirby, forget Steve Ditko. He's hanging out with Jesus right now. He'll hang out with those other guys later. But he's basically doing what his soul would most want. And that makes me feel really good. And because of the fact that I'm a pastor, I run in circles, especially with guys who have been through a lot of deep inner healing. We've gone through, some very heartfelt stuff and come out the other end. And so I live in a culture where when we see each other, we always give each other hugs because of how much we love each other. And, that just comes out of me. I can't help that. And, when I first got together with a lot of the guys from the crew, after the first couple times of meeting them, I was overjoyed at seeing my friends. And so I'd go up and I'd give them hugs. And for Sam, that was not something he was used to. Because as I went in for the hug anyway, I mean, I'm not asking, I'm just going for it. As I'm going in for the hug, he's like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this now. And he was ultra uncomfortable with it, but he went along with it, and it made me chuckle. But I just can't help myself. Once I get to know you, if I see you, I'm a hug you, right? I'm a hugger. And what was really cool is over time, there was no protest. It would just be one of those things that I'd go in for a hug and I'd hug my buddy Sam. And then COVID hit. And we didn't get to see each other for a long time. And I remember the first time I got to see him, I wasn't going in for a hug because I didn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. And I didn't want to make things awkward. And so instead of going in for the hug, I went in for the handshake. And for the first time, Sam, you could see visibly on his face, was like taken aback, like, where's my hug? And I wish I would have went in and hugged him. Of course, noticing that, of course, I put my arm on his back later on. Because, we were just hanging out. And, but to understand and feel and know that he had become comfortable with it, and that it was just part of our relationship. I know it sounds corny, but I'm going to cherish that. He was cool with Bob giving him a hug. I'm sorry, guys. But I'm looking forward to the day when I can see him again. And I'm going to give him that big old bear hug and tell him how much I love him. So I've heard that the family doesn't want to have any type of services, but one of the things that's come out of all this is that Bueller and myself and Damien all realized that his family has no idea just how many lives this guy has touched. Not just in the YouTube community. By the way, I mean, he's been doing videos longer than anybody. Anybody that I know, he's got him beat. He's been doing it for 14 years. Not, all the way through those 14 years, but he started 14 years ago. And, and not just, doing YouTube videos, but he started some pretty prolific Facebook groups that have thousands and thousands of members in them. He has this Sam's Tangled Web. He's got one for the Hulk. He's got the one for the Ever-Loving Blue Eyes, the Thing. He's got a Dr. Doom one. And there are thousands of people who are part of those Facebook channels. And so he has touched the lives of so many people. And his family has no clue just how popular and how much this guy has meant to a great many of us. And I just wanted to get on here and do a video and share with you guys what is definitely going to be a cherished memory for me. and the fact that he finally became comfortable with a hug. And I thought that was really cool. You know, talking comics and those type of things, you know, that's just a side panel compared to the relationship that formed between me and my brothers in the Portland comics crew and this wonderful community. Because I love hanging around with those guys, and I could talk to them about anything, not just comics. And Sam was a huge part of that. And so I'm very much going to miss him. And so wherever you guys are at, remember Sam. Honor his memory. I thought John from John's Comics with Kids had a great idea starting 2 days ago. Actually, well, yesterday, to post either a Spider-Man book or a picture for the next 50 days to the end of the year. And I think it's called Sam's Tangled 50 or something like that. Go look at my Instagram page. You'll see my first 2 posts there, and there'll be the hashtag. You can see what the actual hashtag is there if you want to join in on that. Yeah, I mean, just to honor him. A bunch of us from the Portland Comics crew and a bunch of other people here in Portland are going to get together over at Travis's on Wednesday night. And we're just going to have a comic sorting party. We're going to sort all of Sam's comics. They're all over at Travis's right now. And we're going to sort them up, and we're going to sell them and give the proceeds, all the money. We're going to sell them and give it to his mom. And I think that's exactly what Sam would want. And we're all going to get together, and we're going to laugh, and we're going to talk about Sam, and we're going to celebrate him. And it's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. And so, but going forward, you guys are going to see much more of me. I hope you're okay with that. But I'll be doing more videos, and I'm definitely going to be taking care of myself. So you may see a little bit less of me in the coming months, because I'm going to go back on a weight loss journey that I was on before COVID started, and get myself back into shape and take care of myself. Until the next time, I hope you all are doing well. Remember to support your local comic shop, folks, and Excelsior. Love y'all. We'll see you later.